Grace to you and peace. I am Father Matthew Grunfeld, and I am the rector here at the Church of the Annunciation. And I'm joined here by my trusty curate, Bruno. And I'm going to be speaking a little bit about how to make a small home altar for the celebration of the holy days. Obviously, we're accustomed to celebrating Palm Sunday, Maundy, Thursday, Good Friday, Easter in church, and we know that we're unable to do that this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and many of us are trying to find ways of replicating what we would do in the church in the home. And there's a lot of talk about creating a home altar, and some of us probably know what that is, and some of us have never done it before, and here I am. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to do this in your home. I remember when I was a little kid, I think I was in 6th grade, we bought a CD-ROM attachment for the home computer, and it came with a VHS instructional video, and the whole thing never worked. We returned it to the store, and we told ourselves that we were never going to do anything with an instructional video ever again. But here I am, starring in my own low-budget instructional video for making an altar in your home. And I think the thing to remember is that it doesn't have to be elaborate. I've just got a little end table here in the corner of the living room of the rectory. And this is all you need. If you have a room, that's great. If you just have a little corner of a room, that works. If you really don't have any room at all, you're in a small apartment, maybe you have a box where you keep everything and you put things out to say your prayers, and then you put them back in the box later. And there are many ways to do this. There's really no wrong thing that you can do here. And you don't have to have anything fancy or special. I realize I'm a priest. I probably have a few more goodies than many of you do. But most of what I have here are things that are readily available in your home. You probably have something already. Maybe it's hiding in this corner of a cabinet or something. But the first thing you want to do, perhaps, is have a covering. In the church, we always cover the altar with a fair linen, and I've got here, this is actually just a dish rag. I think I even bought this at IKEA. This was not very expensive at all, and I'm just going to cover the table here with this dish rag, and I have a cross here. This cross came from the Old City in Jerusalem, and I have a few things here from making 2 pilgrimages to the Holy Land that perhaps you don't have, but you probably have somewhere in your house a cross of some sort, even if it's a piece of jewelry or something else. But I have a little cross that I'm going to put here, a reminder of this holy season. And obviously in church we have candles. Candles celebrate the light of Christ. So I've got 2 candles here that I'm going to put, and maybe I'll light them as I offer my prayers. Now, unfortunately, many of us don't have access to palms for Palm Sunday. We received our shipment here at church, and many of our people are just not going to be here to pick it up. But I live here in Florida. For people in my parish, most of us have a palm tree in our yard. So get out a pair of clippers, scissors, and you can go out. And I've got a little vase here. I clipped a little palm frond here to celebrate Palm Sunday. If you don't live in an area with palm trees like we do here in Florida, any kind of greenery will work. It's really only in recent years with cheap shipping that we've been able to actually have palms in churches in areas that don't naturally have palm trees. So greenery works just as well if you aren't in an area where palm trees are a common thing. And I have a bowl here, and I'm not going to fill the bowl because my trusty curate here, Bruno, would probably want to start drinking out of it. But there are two things that you could do with a bowl. The first is, this is actually water from the Jordan River. If you don't have water from the Jordan River, the water out of your sink will do just fine. You can fill that up, and it's a reminder of baptism. Obviously, this is a season in which we are preparing to renew our baptismal vows. Traditionally, we baptize converts to the faith at Easter. So water is an appropriate symbol to have on your table, either in a bowl, or I can just leave it in the little jar here. The other thing that you could do, and again, I realize most of us haven't been to the Holy Land, but I have holy oil here from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And again, if you don't have oil from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the oil from your kitchen would do just fine. And we're reminded of this season in which the Monday in Holy Week, we remember that Jesus' feet are anointed with oil. Traditionally, this is the time of year that our bishops bless the holy oils that are given to priests. They're used in the church throughout the year for baptism and healing. So oil is a traditional part of Christian life. It's involved in sacraments of healing and renewal. And so perhaps if you don't want to use water, or maybe you want to change it out at some point, oil works in the bowl as well. Now, I have here, again, an icon, and perhaps you have some kind of artwork, a religious piece of artwork. This is very small, and I'm going to put it here. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm not a priest. Icons are not something I normally have in my house. Well, there are other things you can do. Perhaps you can, if you have a child, you can ask your child to draw something religious that could, just on regular paper, that could go on the altar in the home. Or you can find something online, perhaps just for the purposes of making this a holy space. And unfortunately, many of us will not be celebrating Holy Communion as we normally would on Maundy Thursday, because we are not in the church. But I actually do have just a regular plate and a goblet here, a reminder of the paten and chalice that we have in the church, a remembrance of the sacrament, even though we are not able to actually celebrate it this year. And finally, I have a Bible. We Episcopalians are known for perhaps having a Bible that's collecting dust on the shelves. And I think Bruno here is getting unhappy with a neighbor on the street. But a Bible here is something that you can have on your altar. And so these are things that you can do, and you can change this up throughout Holy Week. And if you can meditate with a dog, you can pray anywhere. So anyway, you might want to take the palm off after Palm Sunday is over. Obviously, we strip the altar for at the end of Maundy Thursday as we go into Good Friday. You'd want this to be bare. And then obviously on Easter Sunday, you want something a little more glorious. And so perhaps you have some flowers around your house, or you're able to have find some flowers somewhere, and you might want to put the altar back for your Easter celebration with some kind of Easter flower or flowers there. And there's really no wrong way to do this. And one of the fun things people are doing is doing their altars and taking pictures of them and sharing them with each other, because we're all separated during this time. And I hope this gives you a little bit of an idea about making an altar and a holy space in your home as we are physically distant from each other this Holy Week. Thank you.